Greetings comrades and Happy New Year! I wanted to make a special little video to commemorate the end of the year and a little review of how our year went, taking a look back at my self-imposed 2025 video posting challenge. So, in case you missed it, this year I wanted to challenge myself to post a video every day, Monday through Friday for the entire year. And I'm very pleased to announce that we were successful. A huge reason for that was the fact that people were actually watching and commenting, so thank you so much for doing that. I think it would be particularly demoralizing to post videos into the void for an entire year, and one of the coolest things was starting to recognize some of the same names over time. So thank you so much for hanging out with me and my various series of Let's Plays. In this video, I wanted to take a look back at the year and look at some statistics and other thoughts and feelings I have about the year, and then talk about our plans for the future. So, without further ado, let's get into the juicy part of the video and look at some stats. This year we posted 260 videos, and our graph for this looks pretty amazing. The only blip on it is this one video on November 11th, which I accidentally scheduled for 5 AM instead of 5 PM, which in whatever time zone this graph is using, seems to have made it think 2 videos got released on November 10th and none on the 11th. But that's fine. That's okay. This doesn't drive me crazy or anything that there's just this spike here. This is fine. In those 260 videos, we covered almost 80 different games. Most of those on our Tryout Tuesdays, or special weeks during which we tried out a specific theme of game, such as the Tower Defense Bonanza and Automation Game Week. Of those games, the biggest standout by far was Primordialis, which absolutely exploded with views and breathed a huge second wind into my sales in the second part of the year. The Primordialis community has been a huge boon to the channel, and I've met some awesome people from there. And it's been a huge surprise given that my channel is primarily about city builders and management games. If we look at the video statistics for the most watched videos of the year, you can see that Primordialis is absolutely leading the way, far ahead some games that have been on the channel for years. The wildest part about that view explosion is that it happened while I was away on a trip with my friends. At the time, I was estimating that I'd maybe qualify for YouTube memberships by the end of the year, and then while sleeping in a wooden shack in Croatia, I checked my phone and saw that YouTube congratulated me on my YouTube partner qualification. I was hundreds of hours of watch time away when I checked it last time, so it turns out the Primordialis community came out in full force and made a huge boost to my channel. So, shout out to the Primordialis community and its developers. Without you, I think I'd definitely struggle with the will to keep up with my challenge throughout the entire year. If we take Primordialis out of the equation, the most viewed videos aside from my Caesar 3 Augustus installation tutorial, which is not fair to compare to others since it's not a Let's Play, have been for Thrive, Alchemy Factory, Inculinati surprisingly, which is not a video from this year, The Monster Breeder, and honestly, one of my best videos still to this day, and one of my earliest videos, the loosely historically inspired castle that we built in Foundation. Speaking of different games that we covered, if you have any suggestions for 2026, make sure to go down into the description or the pinned comment to find a link to the form where you can let me know what kind of content you enjoyed watching and suggest and vote on what you'd like to see in the future. This info will be super helpful in figuring out what we're gonna do next year, so if you have 2 minutes, check it out and let me know what you think. By the way, it is New Year's Eve as I'm recording this, and the fireworks have gotten more and more frequent, so if you start to hear fireworks, I'm sorry I can't record around that. We're just gonna have to be festive. I think one of the big challenges for small YouTubers is definitely that you just can't know what's gonna work and what isn't. This shotgun strategy of posting 5 different Let's Plays per week I think really pays off in the sense that maybe if you get lucky, the algorithm will pick up a random video of yours and start pushing it to people. A great example of this is my Autarchus video, which is one of our most viewed videos of the year. It performed below average for the first 200 days of being posted, and then suddenly it shot up to far above average. Another problem for a channel like mine is that YouTube really wants you to pick a niche and stay with it. In this graph of how many people were shown my videos by YouTube, you can see that it really gave up on showing the channel in people's feeds around March. Then the Primordialis videos hit, which saw a lot more viewer engagement. So the algorithm goes, well, these people liked Lelling's video, so I'll recommend another one. And it'll pick something I posted that's completely different from Primordialis, and of course that person won't click on it. And then the algo will go, oh okay, they didn't want Lelling's videos after all, so I'll stop recommending them. The next time I post a Primordialis video, the likelihood that it will be recommended to the person who enjoyed Primordialis earlier is lower, because it misread why the person wasn't interested. This is why your favorite creators may have just stopped a series halfway through. If something else they were posting got picked up by the algorithm, even to just wrap up the original series they were doing would hurt their recommendations. For my channel, YouTube directly started encouraging me to post more videos like Primordialis, while berating me for my other videos underperforming. I can see how for people who make a living off YouTube, this could be very stressful. On YouTube, we are all beholden to the grey algorithm, and I'm sure there are many ways I could optimize my channel for the algorithm, and at this point I probably should, just to increase my discovery. But on the other hand, I want to make videos for people, not for an algorithm. I think, like a TV channel, you shouldn't need to enjoy every single thing I post to tune in at all. I mean, ideally you do enjoy my company. But statistically, less than 5% of my viewers are regulars. My schedule of 5 different videos per week, with one game on each evening, sort of emulates a TV channel where you might just tune in for what's on Thursdays, but you don't care for the Monday show. YouTube absolutely hates this because its algorithm bots aren't made to push content like that. This isn't me berating YouTube or complaining, by the way, as it's very understandable that YouTube wants to know if somebody is going to like a piece of content before it recommends it, and consistency across a channel is the best way to do this. In that way, I'm definitely hobbling my channel's performance, but I also want people to willingly choose to watch my content, search for it, click it, and play it of their own free will, not because the video popped up on their watch next and autoplayed by itself. I know this is a dream that's buried under the weight of competitive algorithm optimization, but it does make me appreciate the regulars even more. I know you're not here just because my videos are pushed on you. You could easily be watching hundreds of Let's Players with more views and more algorithmically optimized content, so I really appreciate you spending your time here. So thank you for hanging around, I really appreciate it. And while you're here, if you're somehow still watching this and you're not a subscriber, please consider becoming one. It really helps the channel, and one of my stretch goals for this year was to reach 1,000 subscribers, which is the big YouTube partner milestone that lets you access all the partner features. Realistically, I was aiming for 750, which we did break, again thanks to the awesome Primordialis community, and we almost hit that 1K as well. So in true YouTuber fashion, I'm gonna ask you to hit that subscribe button, and you can also ring the bell, but you don't have to. So what are the plans for next year? Well, before we jump into that, I want to talk about another less statistical and more personal part of this year's challenge. I gotta say, YouTube kinda dominated my life this year. Every day I was wondering if I'd have the videos for tomorrow, and often I'd be scrambling or skipping sleep or social life just to make sure the video was ready, sometimes releasing it minutes to midnight. I was even late a lot of my streams while wrapping up the video for that day. It was very fun, but also kinda stressful and definitely not sustainable. So, in 2026, I will not be beholding myself to this same challenge. I definitely want to keep posting videos regularly with the aim of at least 3 per week, up to the usual 5, and a minimum of 1 per week if times get really busy. YouTube will still be a priority for me, but not something that overrides sleep, health, or going out to see friends, if any of them still think of inviting me. Another consideration is that doing 5 different games in the same week is actually a surprising amount of extra brain power, for lack of a better term, than if it was just the same game. Not just physically closing and relaunching games, but mentally switching between different games, control schemes, and making different thumbnails definitely added a little bit of extra padding to the work. So I'd prefer to focus on 1 or 2 games at a time instead, with the option of still doing the Tryout Tuesday routine for trying out various games, or occasionally doing a themed week again. Speaking of Tryout Tuesdays, those are a lot of fun to do, and they allowed me to try out a lot of games that I'd not had the excuse to load up otherwise, but I've kinda almost run out of games to try out now. Plus, I actually bought a lot of the games for the purpose of trying them out, which, given that my videos are not currently being monetized, waiting on that 1,000 subscribers, is also a little bit unsustainable. Another big achievement this year has been that I've qualified to occasionally receive promotional keys to try out games for free. But because my channel's rather small, I don't exactly get my pick of games. So I'm gonna keep trying out some games. I have a couple in my library that I wanted to post about still, but maybe not every week of the year. I'll definitely keep an eye out for any recommendations from you guys though, both in the comments and that forum. So if you have any, let me know in the poll linked below. The plan for the near future is to continue and finish all of the Let's Plays we have currently ongoing. Then, instead of 5 different games per week, maybe pick 1 or 2 to play regularly and focus on, then move on to the next. Another big thing I want to do this year is make more videos which take more effort. The kind of videos which feature time lapses, voiceovers, research, etc. I think those are the most fun and creatively fulfilling to make, and they're also more fun to watch in my opinion. But of course it would have been impossible to make 5 of those per week. With a looser schedule, I can have a regular Let's Play, and interspersed would be some videos which take a little bit more effort. I hesitate to commit to a specific number of those, but maybe we can aim for a soft goal of about 1 per month. That seems doable. Actually, speaking of which, one of my all-time favorite videos that I made on this channel was in this style, and I always want to shout it out whenever I'm showing any content on my channel. I'm gonna link it in the card above as I think it's a really cool narrative, and I'm still kinda sad that it didn't get as many views as I'd liked. If you haven't seen it, definitely give it a watch, as it's one of my favorite projects I made on here. It's got everything. Intrigue, lore, nuns. It's absolutely amazing. The idea for 2025 was kind of inspired by NaNoWriMo, which is a writing event which focuses on output rather than polishing, because like many creatives, writers tend to get stuck editing and re-editing the same lines over and over again and never get anywhere. I kinda had the same thing with videos. There's some really cool stuff I want to make which would take weeks and months to edit, but I just never found the time. So I'd occasionally go months or even years without posting anything, feel bad about it, think my next video really has to be a high quality one to justify the absence, and then continue to spiral. In that sense, 2025 has been the year of just get it out there. Don't keep making it perfect to the point where it never leaves your editing software and no one will see it. When the time is up, you have to post it. In 2026, I want to keep up the momentum I've built in the past year, but also give myself a little allowance to work on those more labor-intensive projects. I want this channel to have a lot of creative freedom, otherwise I could just find what the most algorithmically friendly thing to post is and just keep posting that. But that's no fun, neither for you or me. So, I hope you'll join me in the coming year. I really want to keep creating and sharing my Let's Plays with you guys. One of the reasons I even started to make videos has been because I enjoy a lot of creative games where we get to design and build cities or creature designs or whatever we get to make. But those are games that are usually single player. And part of the joy of creating for humans is the joy of sharing that creativity. Being able to hold our little lumps of clay that we've shaped into little hedgehogs and bison up to each other has been something people have been doing since before we were even human. So it's been a huge joy, and I'm honored that anyone chooses to spend their time here and look at my little lumps of clay. Thank you so much, and here's to a wonderful and creative 2026.